There has just been way too much chaos on social media the last 4 days, this month, for the last year. And it's okay to give yourself a break. I do, because even though I want to stay informed, I don't want to be put into a state of fear or anger. I'm not going to allow that. So you all know I'm an attorney and I have a spiritual wellness business. And believe me, my lawyer brain has a lot to say right now. That's not what I want to talk about. Because yes, my lawyer brain is not going to get angry, is not going to just spew nonsense. Like, my lawyer brain looks at all the illegalities that are happening. I have yet to see anything that is lawful. So I'm having to sit with that and process that and deal with that and learn how to move forward. And in the spiritual side of my business, help people understand how to navigate this. So I'm going to be straight up with you. Sometimes spiritual guidance is gaslighting. It really is, where, people are telling you what to feel or not to feel, or what to do or what not to do. And I don't want to contribute to that. I don't want to contribute to the noise here. That's not what I'm about. I mean, I have a unique perspective with my lawyer brain and my spiritual brain, and I see things very differently, very differently. I don't like the sale of this app. I don't know how I don't know if I'm really going to be here. I don't like it. I don't like what I see, but I felt like I wanted to come in and just share a couple of things, because when we are perpetually angry and afraid, and you may say, but Allie, it's justified. There's a lot to be angry about and there's a lot to be afraid about. Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But when we are perpetually angry or afraid, I'm not even going to go down the path of what it's doing to your nervous system, because you're fried, and it will impact your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. I want to talk about our energy health, which is first and foremost. If you have ever studied energy, we are an energy being first and foremost, and then we are a physical body. Now, when we send out a vibration, that attracts more of that to us, and we end up feeling more of it. So if you are perpetually angry, you're going to feel more angry. If you are perpetually afraid, you're going to feel more afraid. I want to talk about a couple of universal laws. We actually talk about these in my Sacred Shift community. The other night, our universal law that we were talking about was the law of correspondence. And I'm just going to give you brief definitions. That says that your reality is a mirror to what is going on in you. And what's going on in you? Your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. So, law of correspondence, your outside world will correspond to your inner world. Okay? It is a mirror. That's a bitter pill to swallow. The law of vibration tells us that your vibration creates your reality. Okay? Your reality of what you see is probably different than the reality of what I see, because we come at it with we look at things differently. And the root of that is our vibration. So if you are consuming fear and anger on these apps consistently, you will vibrate with anger and fear, and you will see more of it, and you will experience more of it. And then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you're like, see, Allie, I'm getting more of it. Yeah, because you are anger and fear. The next universal law is the law of cause and effect. And, this tells us that our actions create a ripple effect that will come back on us. It's the butterfly effect in chaos theory. Google that. Butterfly effect in chaos theory. It's karma. Okay? Karma is basically unresolved actions and unprocessed energy that loops on repeat until we change it. And a lot of people are like, but why do we have history repeating itself? Because it's frickin' karma. And the US has done horrific things. I mean, I'm not going to get into what other countries have done. The US has done horrific things. We're getting a karmic backlash and getting an opportunity to resolve it. You can't solve a problem with the same energy that created it. That's physics, okay? That's physics. So this is why it feels like history is repeating itself, right? And we even have historians talking about that. But it's simply karma asking for a conclusion by doing something different. Here's the thing. People have been at war with each other since the beginning of recorded history. Don't you find that interesting? Humans are the most violent species on this planet. They just kill randomly. Animals don't do that. So our response to everything determines the next event. This gets me to the next law. It's the law of polarity, where there's two sides. There's light and dark. There's good and bad. There's kindness, there's cruelty, but they are of the same coin. They are two sides of the same coin. And each teaches us contrast by shining a light on what we're focused on. And I talk about in my communities about contrast, where we're showing something that we don't want, like people getting harmed. You should look at that and say, I don't want that. I want this. I want laws abided by. I want people treated with kindness. I want everybody getting along. But everybody is so focused on this that it creates more of this. Okay? These are universal laws. These are energy laws. Everything is energy. So the law of polarity is giving us, which side of the coin do you want to sit on? And a lot of people choose to sit on the side of the coin of anger and fear. Okay? That gets me to the next law. And there's a lot of universal laws. I'm just going to hit like 6 of my favorites. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy says that every action begins with a thought. So your thoughts create emotions. Your emotions create action or non-action. And those actions create results. So what are your thoughts? Are they rooted in anger and rage and fear, which is then creating the emotion, which is then creating the action or the non-action, like going into hibernation? Okay, something to think about. And then the last one is the law of divine oneness. Because everything is energy, everything and everyone is of the same energy and is connected through a web of energy. Kindness, going back to the last law, kindness is one side of the coin, cruelty is the other side of the coin. This final law, this law of divine oneness, helps us understand that we can work with energy to impact the collective. We just imagine that you are a pebble and you hurl yourself into a lake and it creates a ripple. That's you, my friend. That's me. What's the ripple that you want? We can't keep trying to solve problems with the exact energy that created it. Problems that are created out of anger and rage and discrimination, we cannot fight with anger and rage and discrimination. And the one thing I have learned in my legal career when it comes to bullies and narcissists, when you ignore them, when you laugh at them, they literally implode on themselves. Okay? Don't give a bully and a narcissist your joy. Don't let them put you into fear or anger. Ignore them. Laugh at them. That energy literally implodes on itself. Interesting stuff, isn't it?